Mountain Bike Mania is brought to you by KHS Bicycles, a full line of bicycles sold in 30 countries. Jensen USA, America's #1 online retailer of bikes and accessories, ODI, the world leader in grip technology, and Angel Fire Bike Park, the top-rated bike park in the Southwest. Welcome to Mountain Bike Mania. I'm Samantha McDonald. We're kicking off the second half of the Northwest Cup Series here in Stevens Pass, Washington. In the last few weeks, we've been to Mount Hood, Oregon for the Northwest Cup Series, Mammoth, California for the National Championships, and Snowshoe, West Virginia for the Pro GRT Series. The riders have been racking up miles, and we've seen some amazing racing. Yeah! In the last Northwest Cup race, points leader Luke Strobel chose to ride a bright blue trail bike, breaking it in before nationals. Not only did he win the race, but he managed to put a few seconds on second-place finisher Matt Orlando. We'll see what bike he chooses this weekend, but first, let's take a look at the leaderboard. Now I'll turn things over to Ross, who will tell us what riders can expect from the course. Ross?
Thanks, Sammy. Stevens Pass is looking exceptionally dry and dusty. It's also the home court for Luke Strobel, our points leader. We'll expect big things from him today. So let's jump to our course preview, brought to you by Jensen USA. Check out the qualifying segment brought to you by KHS Bicycles.
Pedal! You're not gonna win if you don't pedal! Yeah! Oh, get up here! I don't think you're gonna make it! That was a sneaky one. For the dog, you big man! Boy, come on, come on!
Alright, looks like our junior start list here for NWCup number 5, Stevens Pass. Josh Gibb, your #1 qualifier.
We've got a couple Americans right after him, and Harry Head making the trip down from Canada, rounding out the top 6. We got Benjamin Van Veen up first.
Out of Bellingham, Washington. Not too far of a drive for him, but probably also not quite used to the amount of dry, dusty dirt they're having here at Stevens Pass this year.
Yeah, you can see the little clouds of dust following him everywhere he goes.
Yeah, Stevens Pass, just like most of the NWCups, not getting a lot of the moisture that we're used to, so a lot of these riders really having to adapt and change their riding style.
Does that really affect the track much, Mikey?
I think in my experience at Stevens, it was actually a lot faster when it had some moisture to it, so...
just sketchy, loose now?
Although with those long wooden bridges like you see there, the moisture definitely gets scary.
Nice and slippery.
But yeah, I think times will be pretty close to about the same as in the wet.
Dang, well here he is hammering through the rocks.
We just saw him up actually at split #1, almost 2.5 seconds, so he's on a good run right now.
See if he can hold it together for the bottom half. It's pretty flowy with all these jumps.
Yeah, very much a bike park style track, is what people are calling it. A lot of flow at the bottom, real good jumps, big bank turns, but also taking a lot of fitness and having to sprint it out here.
Yep, so that'll put him in first.
Right now, 3:17.60. It's a pretty solid time based on our qualifying from yesterday.
Another second up on Dylan Brown, so he'll take the fastest split. But here we've got our Canadian, Harry Head.
Another young 17-year-old making the trip down. Actually having a pretty good contingent at all the NWCups this year. Wow. Of riders making it through from from BC and other parts of Canada.
Yeah, he looks quick through the.
Actually,
the
about a
first
mile
part.
per hour faster at the speed trap. So
So here we go. Yeah.
he'll be coming through the top section very tight here in the trees. Real bank turn.
Oh,
Oh, stalling
slowing
up
down,
there. Yeah, balling up a little bit in that corner, Ross.
I know he's been having a pretty good season in Canada, but here he comes down a little bit south to the dry old America.
He's down a bit at split number 1, about 3 seconds. So
Looks a bit timid.
yeah, it looks like he's having some traction issues with this dry dirt. Maybe not used to how sketchy it can get in that
Good exit
in those
speed
loose
there,
turns. But yeah, definitely letting it rip through the rocks. Not afraid of that.
Oh,
Scrubbing
so
the edge of
inside.
that jump. Wow, really cutting the little tents out
Taking
of the track.
notes from Gwynny, huh?
We call those the Villapoto lines, actually.
From motocross.
Motocross style, using the very edge of the lip.
Does that put him
Good
in?
time, though.
Just behind Ben Van Veen.
Ben had a killer top half, it looks like. Harry really having to put on the gas and make up that 3.5 seconds.
But here we've got Athlete of the Week for the junior category. Let's check it out.
Presented by Angel Fire Bike Park.
Get some power. Yeah.
You're 17, this is your first year competing in downhill, and you're the points leader for the Northwest Cup. What do you attribute to your success so far?
Well, I'd have to give it to my lifelong just racing motocross. It definitely, you play along with the same skills and the same type of racing mentality, and it works. As soon as the gate drops or as soon as you go past the starting gate, I mean, you really, like your mentality, it just starts to just turn to racing and you go as fast as you can.
So how would you describe yourself as a rider?
Oh, I'm definitely not the smoothest rider, but I can go fast through the most of the sections, but I'll go fast but not smooth.
And what have you learned this year competing your first downhill series?
Oh yeah, well it's definitely been a learning curve for me. You have to let go of the brakes and kind of take it with less control. I mean, if you try to ride control all the way, you're not going to be first at the bottom. So.
You're from Washington. What's it like competing in your backyard?
Well, there's so many different types of trails that it really prepares you for everything. And I mean, the trails up there are world class, and it's like a mecca for mountain biking. Everybody comes there. It's just good to know that.
And you have a brother who also competes in downhill. What's it like competing with him?
Well, we're not in the same age class yet, but once we get there, it's going to be very competitive.
Back on track with the man we just saw. That's Jason Eiswald out of Bellingham.
He's been having a pretty killer season, leading the points in the Northwest Cup.
Just 16 years old, too. One of our younger junior competitors. And as we saw just a moment ago, pretty new to the sport of downhill. But
He's finally wearing knee pads. I believe 661, the protection company, picked him up.
yeah, decided that if he wants to keep a future in the sport, they better protect him.
He's got to have
Wow,
his kneecaps.
sending that big step up.
Let's check him out at the split into this corner inside. Oh,
Only
he's back.
only about half a second back, so
But he excels through the jumps for sure. So the bottom half might be a little better.
actually and as you say that, he sent
He
that
just
that gap,
missed the whole landing.
completely jumped all the way over all of the rock
He
section.
probably has a motor in there somehow.
Here he is into the high speed rock garden. This is the only place where his bike may not be quite as capable as some of the bigger downhill bikes, but
Because it's missing a couple inches of travel in the rear.
yeah, but definitely going to be excelling here in the lower part of the
Sending
track where
that.
it's a lot of pedaling and kind of smooth berms and jumps. So that
He pedals that bike up the hills too. So here he is on the gas.
and
What?
wow, 3 seconds.
Did he just put 3 seconds in the bottom?
3 seconds in the lower part of this course. So
Dude, that's nuts.
Ben must not have had the greatest lower section. So we'll see if that time holds up.
Here we got Bailey Villalobos.
Another pretty new rider to the NWCup series.
They've got a couple teammates for Tiga too. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly. And they've been around since Port Angeles' first GRT, just ripping trails in the Northwest. But this is their home court advantage, so we'll see how. I believe he's our number 2 qualifier.
Yeah, just behind Mr. Gibbs in qualities. So the
That's
time's already
fine.
faster. Oh, about a second and a half down still. So Ben holding that top split pretty steady, but we just saw a moment ago that Jason was able to put 3 seconds into him in the lower part of the track. So
Yeah, we'll see if Bailey can do something like that. I'm sure he'll excel at this whole bike park just because he's from around here.
looks like he got a little bit offline in the rocks there, having to really make the suspension work and maybe losing a little bit of speed on the way out. Pumping super hard though through the step down.
Back on the jumps.
Back into the lower bit. You can tell riders at full speed definitely having to squash those last few jumps to stay on the ground.
Oh, so he's
into third,
yeah.
just in front of Harry.
Just by a little bit, but
A couple tenths separating those second to fourth place riders. And here is your number 1 qualifier.
Josh Gibb.
Yeah, riding for the Palmer Project.
He's been having a good season training with all those rad juniors from all over the country, mainly California.
Yeah, pretty much. I think Josh is the only rider on that program that isn't from California. And also, I think the only rider riding flat pedals in the whole group. So we just saw that being his advantage, being able to throw a foot out there in that turn.
Getting a little sketchy, huh?
He's looking really quick, really smooth.
Yeah, carving corners.
Only about 3 tenths down on Ben's first split, but we saw Jason still put 3 seconds into the lower part.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts. Ben still holding up that first split. See what Josh can do on that VPP bike.
The intense M16 really working hard there through the rocks.
Getting tossed about a little bit. He doesn't weigh much, does he?
He is one of the smaller juniors, but he's finally kind of getting control of the downhill bike and the full size of it. Just big enough to where he can really handle it around.
Yeah.
And we see it here. They're having to send those jumps all the way to flat.
Rear wheel all the way down, over the line.
On the gas hard, into the lead.
Made it.
Just barely. He must have had a killer lower section to stay with Jason Eiswald's time.
Just in good shape and getting on it, huh?
That's going to be your top 10 for juniors here at NWCup number 5. Definitely good for the points for Mr. Gibb.
Yep, our ODI scoreboard says it all. I think Jason might stay in the lead, but we've got a couple more rounds to go. Here's the start list for Pro Men. Who's on top, Mikey?
No surprise here. Luke Strobel's taking the number 1 qualifying spot. Kent Billingsley, and then Stevens Pass local Kevin Littlefield in the number 3 spot, which is great to see.
So who have we got here?
This is Cameron, and Cameron is one of the well-known hecklers in the NWCup series. He spends a lot of time on the side of the track
with Bob,
with Mr. Bob Stinson. So we saw him a few rounds ago taking a nasty digger into a tree and getting back up. So, but Cam's always been one of the consistent NWCup racers, and it's good to see him on a good run right now. About a second back at split number 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he had a bit of an issue in qualifying, only qualifying in his 16th spot, but
may have had a flat near the end or something. But
also a very, very tall rider, if you haven't noticed already, really able to make the bike work for him. He's just leaning off the back on that Pivot Cycles carbon downhill rig.
Yeah, he looks like a giant on that thing, huh?
Not pedaling through here, actually a manual.
Nice.
Saving a little bit of energy. Oh, all the way to flat on the jumps.
Those are small when you're racing, huh, Mikey?
Yeah, they definitely are built to be fun at the bike park. And 3:15, that's going to put him in the lead right now with a pretty lackluster qualifier. We're going to see him sit in the hot seat for a few more riders.
Mm-hmm. We got Cole Weatherall. He's been known for throwing some crazy jumps and whips and
definitely one of the more stylish riders out on the course, both on the bike and in his choice of kit. Always doing something fluorescent, usually has some pink in there.
Yeah. Riding for the
today.
Alias Motocross apparel company, huh?
Yeah, one of the few riders actually still riding for mountain bikes for that gear company.
Heck yeah.
And he's up at split number 1 by just barely.
See the
but
beautiful
he's looking
scenery.
Really smooth here. Really not phased by the loose, dusty dirt and just pumping through everything, sneaking in pedals when he can.
Yeah, those corners look hard to maintain your speed. I mean,
yeah, we saw a lot of riders in our junior category get stalled up in those top berms. Wow, just dancing through the rocks right there, making it DVO suspension work hard for him.
Okay, just bounce. Oh,
nasty scrub! That was vicious.
Dang.
He almost didn't pull that off.
He knows there's some photographers down there.
That was one of the most aggressive scrubs I've ever seen on a bicycle. Wow,
shaking
into the
his
lead,
head though. Oh my god, here we get another look.
Whoa! Barely pulled that one off and still sent the step down.
Oh my god.
Next up, Alec Watts, a name we haven't seen too much here in the top 10 at the NWCups, but having a good weekend here at Stevens Pass.
Qualifying a little higher than the last one at Mount Hood. Let's see if he can put down a good run.
Just sneaking inside the top 10 for qualies. And these are some of those turns we were talking about, Ross. Just very dusty, very loose, and riders really having to struggle to maintain their speed, especially this right-hander you'll see.
Oh man, it's kicking up rocks everywhere too. It's like if you're not worried about the dust.
Exactly. Definitely one of the rougher
Wow.
bits. Wow, half a second up and carrying so much speed through the outside of that
That
turn.
corner is pretty bumpy. I mean, I can't believe how quickly he just kind of pointed the bike and went.
He's choosing to take a lot of outside lines here and really hold his speed. Now that can pay off for him in the long run, just with the exit speed. We also saw some of our younger riders taking inside lines and making sure that the course is as short as possible.
Yeah, getting pretty sneaky.
Another Villapoto line off the little table.
Everyone seems to be watching motocross these days, huh?
Learning from the best. No motor means you got to make up for it somehow. Throwing a foot out in the last corner.
Wow.
But a great time. Wow.
Yeah.
The fastest time we've seen so far. 3:10.
Here's that corner again.
Such exit speed.
Just probably made up 3 seconds right there. All right, we got Andrew Flashenream from Montana. He is an OG downhiller, pinned to the bone.
Definitely one of the
Whoa.
old school, but not letting the years slow him down, that's for sure.
Oh, no.
26 at the speed trap. That's actually one of the fastest speeds I think we've seen today.
Yeah, he gets rowdy.
Definitely going for it here in Stevens Pass.
Middle line, nice exit speed.
Great exit speed, and
Up.
it shows up by almost a second at the split.
Here he goes. Where is he
Wow,
jumping there?
way outside, missing the holes, almost outside of the tape right there. That'd be a judge's call, I think, on whether or not that's off course. But he set up wide and made that turn nice and smooth.
He's hammering through the rocks. You can see the helmet bobbing up and down.
Yeah, on that Canfield bike, which definitely loves the rough stuff.
Yep.
Very
Another
rear wheel axle path bike.
another gap right there. Back on the pedals. Here we go into the finish.
Last few jumps, and then they're gonna sprint it hard.
Where's
Wow,
that put him?
roosting that last corner. 3:14 though, just outside of it. Alec had a killer lower section.
Wow, yeah.
Almost Andrew losing almost 5 seconds after split number
he was
one.
up, huh?
He was up by almost a second and a half.
That's nuts. Maybe he had a mistake in there or something, but here we got Weston Potter, old moto background, and it'll show, definitely.
Just gapping down through all these rocks, so tight in the trees right there.
On the pedals.
28 miles an hour.
What?
That's a full 3 miles an hour faster than almost any speed we've seen.
Dude, he's on a run right now.
And here's going to be one of those tough corners. Getting balled up and getting right on the gas. Time to beat 104 at split number 1.
Seems to
He
be-
looks like he is
What?
amazingly on pace.
4.5 up.
4.6 nearly seconds up at split number 1.
He is on fire right now.
If he can hold this run together, keep the same pace through the bottom, he's going to be on a killer time. We may see something close to 3-minute flats.
Super inside. Oh my
Just
god.
working through the rocks
I
right
didn't even
there.
have time to see what line he chose there.
He just let it go. There was no even question about brakes through that
Oh
section.
my god.
Scrubbing the little inside, actually jumping the step down, casing up a little bit, but so hard on the gas right there. You can tell riders really struggling.
Really pushing it.
Just getting every little ounce they can to those pedals.
What?
3:01
Is that a typo?
by almost
9 seconds.
9 seconds. Wow, that was an amazing run.
Let's see if anyone can beat that. That was insane.
Uncle Jake, cousin Jake, excuse me, not Uncle Jake.
Uh-huh.
His nickname here in the Northwest Series, riding with Matt Orlando, one of our featured riders last week.
Matt had a bit of an accident earlier today. Actually, in this exact section, we saw him come down.
Jake looking so smooth through
Squirrely
here.
through there, though.
Getting him just bouncing on the bike, really pushing down when he wants traction and letting the bike float over where he doesn't want to be hitting the holes and slow down. And looking so fast through this section.
Is he just a master of flow, would you say, Mikey?
I would say Jake is probably one of the flowiest riders on the circuit, and just really looks like he's having fun on his bike the entire time. He never looks like he's trying too hard, but his times speak for themselves, and he's been pretty consistent up there in the top 10 at the NWCup this year.
Getting a little head bob through the rocks, but keeping his speed.
Looks like he's a little dirty as well. I don't know what might have happened.
Oh, we'll
Back
see.
of his
when
jersey had a little extra dust on it.
Uh-oh.
We'll have to see how that plays out at the bottom, or if it's just my eyes playing tricks on me. picking up before those jumps, not choosing to get on the gas, maybe saving it for this last finish sprint. Head bobbing across the line. 3:09 into second.
That's solid.
Good time for Jake. But, wow, that time by Weston Potter in a 3:01. Amazingly fast.
Not even close so far, but here's Dimitri Triantafilou. He got 8th at Nationals in Mammoth, so he's been having a pretty good season, wouldn't you say?
He's definitely showing that he's kind of matured as a rider a little bit. Only 20 years old, but
really,
kind of one of the juniors that had a lot of hope for himself and really never made it stick when he was racing the junior category. Moved up to the pro ranks and has really stepped up his game and shown that he's someone to be reckoned with in the U.S. Series.
And he's up
at split number 1. Not much though, only about a 10th.
But if he's up on Weston, that's promising.
We saw that just a moment ago that Cousin Jake was only about a second off, and he lost 9 seconds lower to Weston. So we're definitely going to have to double check on this
finish time. Here
this
we go.
finish speed, yeah, for Dimitri, or as I like to call him, the Alphabet Kid. Taking that title away from an old school racer.
So inside there.
Super inside, picking up over all the jumps. Nice little scrub there. Going to scrub it again and still send it to flat.
You just can't make them short enough. What's his time there? 3:03.
Wow, 3:03 for Dimitri.
That is quick.
Just still, though, Weston having a killer run. We're into our number 3 qualifier, though. Stevens Pass local.
So if anyone's going to get Weston, we've got Kevin Littlefield here.
If anybody knows this mountain better, they'd be hard-pressed to put a faster time down than Kevin here.
Yeah, I believe Kevin rides for Stevens. Oh, getting hard on the brakes through that bumpy corner, though.
Braking super late there.
But he seems to be coming in this one with more speed. Eh?
Losing a little bit on that exit there, getting on the gas hard. Still, we'll have to see how it translates split number 1. He's down
Pretty
by
close,
about
though.
0.7.
3/4 of a second.
Still, that lower section, amazingly fast by Weston. Whoa, that was actually a very, very good exit on the corner.
That corner's been slowing people down all day.
Yeah, getting on the gas hard, too. We're seeing Kevin really just knowing every little inch of this track and where he can sneak those pedals in.
Think
and
it's
gain
changed
some-
a bit, though?
I think the dust obviously will make more holes come out,
Yeah.
more exposed to more rocks, but I think just the knowing where he can sneak in pedals and knowing where those pedals are really going to make a difference kind of gives him a little bit of an advantage.
Not
here, I think.
pedaling there at all. Speaking of.
And then sucking up these last few jumps, he's going to be sprinting hard, head down through the line. 3:04 into
Pretty close.
third. Wow, Weston's time though, 3:01.76. Still, that lower section, he was on a terror.
Heck yeah. Well, here we got another athlete of the week in the pro class.
Presented by Angel Fire.
You're just within reach of well-known riders like Luke Strobel, Charlie Sponsel. How does that feel for you?
It's just awesome to be like close to that level now, and I've looked up to these guys for the last 5 years, and it's cool just to like slowly progress from a Cat 2 and finally get up to their level and be riding in the top 5 with these guys. So.
Absolutely. And you're independent.
Yeah.
What's it like riding independent?
I mean, it's a lot harder because I have to work all week and then come to the races, and then I have to drive back on Sunday, get back at 1 in the morning, and I got to be up to work early in the morning.
And how have you improved this year? What have you learned?
Well, from riding with all these other guys and watching them ride helps a lot, and just seeing how they ride through everything and their line choice kind of helps me get through stuff.
Here we go. Kent Billingsley, the guy you just saw, coming from Montana, having a pretty solid season. Let's see if he can put down one more run in state tops in the overall.
Yeah, here looks like Stevens Pass is actually a pretty crucial event with only a few rounds left. A lot of riders not able to make it from national champs or on the East Coast for the GRTs, so this is definitely going to help him in the points overall.
Wow.
Choosing to ride his little bike, it looks like. He's on a 6-inch enduro bike here.
I believe he blew up his rim on the downhill bike.
Doesn't seem to be slowing
my
him down
God.
much. Only 2.5 seconds down at split number 1.
He looks so much faster right now. He must have missed something that was slow. I mean, every corner.
We just saw right there a little bit of an issue, breaking a little bit too late into that corner and losing a bit of his exit speed. So this is going to be one of those sections where that little bike is going to be a bit of a disadvantage, but bouncing through there. No regard for the suspension on that bike.
Dang, he's going flying.
Using
outside up
every
there.
inch of that small 6-inch bike. This is where that bike's really going to excel, though, the lower part of the track, where
speed
it's
stuff.
a little bit smoother. And nasty scrub,
What?
almost losing it.
Where was he taking off from?
He was using every inch of that outside lip. Into fourth right now,
with
306.
one rider left. So that's top 5.
I'm sure he's going to be slightly disappointed with that after such a good qualifier, but
Darn. Well, maybe not being on the downhill bike is what kind of screwed him up. But we got top qualifier Luke Strobel.
again, not
See
on a
chasing
downhill
Eiswald
bike.
chasing him down there.
Luke testing out a new bike for Evil. Looks like this at the last few NWCups instead of riding his downhill bike.
Getting smooth.
Well, Luke is pretty much well known for being one of the smoothest riders in the U.S., much less in the Northwest Cup.
Yeah, and managing to do it on a bike that is harder to keep rolling smooth. I mean, it picks up speed really well, but to flow with it is kind of more of a challenge, wouldn't you say so?
2.5 seconds down at split number 1, or 2.3, so definitely a little bit of a disadvantage on that shorter travel bike, but I think the larger wheels actually help him a little with
Carry
some of
speed.
these, carry speed, and then also a little bit of the rollover, where he's not falling into quite as many holes, and the rocks don't seem quite as big, so...
Seems a little slower than Weston through there.
Yeah, he's definitely having to use the bike to its full potential, is where the downhill bike really capable of a whole lot more than just that rock section is thrown at it.
Sending these jumps, though.
This will be the section that really the bike will excel, but again, Luke, one of the flat pedal riders out there, so not maybe able to put down quite as much power.
Across the line.
Across the line, 306.
Wow.
303, sorry, good enough
Is that
for third.
Is that the first one he has won then?
I think this is the first upset.
Wow, Weston Potter taking down his first Northwest Cup win.
And Dimitri backing up his great finish at Mammoth Nationals with a second place finish.
Today, give it up. Top 1 men, 0 to 18. Northwest Cup number 5. For Northwest Cup number 5, Stevens Pass.
That's all for this episode of Mountain Bike Mania. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at MTBMania TV, and check out our website, mtbmania.net, for full episodes and footage that didn't make it into the show. For all our crew and our sponsors, KHS Bicycles, ODI Grips, Jensen USA, and Angel Fire Bike Park, I'm Samantha McDonald.
Yeah, get it. Go, 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 faster! Ooh!
Mountain Bike Mania has been brought to you by KHS Bicycles, a full line of bicycles sold in 30 countries. Jensen USA, America's #1 online retailer of bikes and accessories, ODI, the world leader in grip technology, and Angel Fire Bike Park, the top-rated bike park in the Southwest.